President Trump headed abroad today, while here at home, the House moves closer to a potential vote on impeachment. Mr. Trump will be participating in a NATO summit in London this week as the House Judiciary Committee holds its first impeachment hearing. Congressional correspondent Lisa Desjardins is here to tell us what's ahead. Lisa, the president has now landed in London, but while he was in the air, the impeachment news kept happening here at home. What happened while he was in the air?
And here he is talking to important allies, but on his mind as well is the impeachment hearing going forward. I want to first of all play what the president had to say on his way to London as he left the White House today. He's going to remark on something that the Ukrainian President Zelensky said. We're going to come to that, but here's the president basically building his case even as he left the White House today.
Because the whole thing is a hoax. Everybody knows it. All you have to do is look at the words of the Ukrainian president that he just issued, and you know it's a hoax. It's an absolute disgrace what they're doing to our country. Thank you.
We will continue to hear this from Republicans, the idea that this investigation and impeachment is a hoax or a sham. Let's talk about what President Zelensky said specifically that the president thinks exonerates him. Here are the words from the Ukrainian president in an interview that was published in the last day. He said, "Look, I never talked to the president from the position of a quid pro quo. That's not my thing. But you have to understand we're at war. If you're our strategic partner, then you can't go blocking anything for us. I think that's just about fairness." There's a lot in that quote, John, but essentially he's saying a quid pro quo is not his thing. I don't know if that's a clear exoneration of the president, but he went on farther. This, as the president's job is at stake here, Zelensky thinks his country is at stake over there, over U.S. policy. So it's an important development. Also something today that I think we need to keep our eye on for the next week. This man, his name is Lev Parnas. We're going to show a photo of him. He's a known associate of Rudy Giuliani who was working in Ukraine on behalf of Giuliani and is known to have kind of been part of this idea of a parallel track of diplomacy. He's under indictment, and in court today, his lawyer said he would like to turn over a large amount of documents and electronic devices, 14 cell phones and laptops with information that he thinks House Democrats should get. That's working through the courts, but the judge indicates that they may grant that request and get that evidence to Democrats.
Sort of tantalizing. We don't know what's there, but he says it could be helpful or of interest. Now, the White House said over the weekend that it won't participate in this week's House Judiciary Committee impeachment hearing.
That's right.
How does that affect things?
Well, it's fascinating because this is the first opportunity that the White House has had to participate. They could not participate in the House Intelligence Committee hearing, something that they've raised a lot of criticism about. But we did get this letter from the White House counsel, Pat Cipollone. He's the one sort of heading up impeachment from a legal standpoint. He wrote in this letter to the House Judiciary Chairman, an invitation to an academic discussion with law professors, which is what the hearing is on Wednesday, does not begin to provide the president with any semblance of a fair process. Accordingly, under the current circumstances, we do not intend to participate in your Wednesday hearing. And I will note we have gotten that witness list. It is 4 law professors, one of whom was chosen by Republicans, but still the White House is saying that's not enough. Interestingly enough, John, they may participate later. In this same letter, the White House counsel says they're considering whether they will call other witnesses or participate at a different time, but there's a deadline for them to make that decision as well.
Where does this go from here? I mean, what's going to happen this week, and then what's the process after that?
Let's go to the calendar. I love it. First, let's talk about this week. Again, this is the hearing on Wednesday, the 4th. That is the first House Judiciary Committee hearing with those law professors. Now, after that, on Friday, that is the deadline that Democrats have set for the White House to announce if they will participate at all, if they want to call any witnesses, cross-examine any witnesses in the future. One reason that deadline is so tight is because the following week is when Democrats seem to be moving toward at least a committee vote on actual articles of impeachment. If things move along quickly, that could also be a House floor vote. So if the White House is going to participate, they need to announce that soon. Now, after that, an important date, of course, the 25th, Christmas. This has sort of been the tool by which, or the measure for Democrats when they would like to have articles of impeachment through the House altogether. I want to point out a couple other dates in December that may affect everything. December 9th, that's when the Inspector General at the Department of Justice releases a report about the FBI's handling of the Russia investigation. That's something Republicans say will show bias against the president. There's some reporting it may not. That's a big date. Then December 20th, Oh, just the deadline for government spending. That's when government spending will run out. So that's something else that members of Congress and the president have to agree on in the midst of all of this kind of upheaval and very serious constitutional debate.
And meanwhile, the House Republicans said today that they'll have something to say about this, right?
That's right. Just in the last hour or so, we received a report from House Republicans. They have written their own prebuttal to the impeachment hearings of the week. That is 110 pages. Essentially, they say the president never pressured the Ukrainian president. And this document really lays out, I think, how they'll proceed. By tomorrow night, John, we should also get the Democrats' intelligence report. We expect that to be lengthy and significant. It will first be presented behind closed doors, but we should get a look at it by tomorrow night, just in time for that Wednesday hearing. It's going to be busy.
And so that goes to the Judiciary Committee as sort of the basis for their work.
That's right. The thinking is the Intelligence Committee, Democrats, will recommend impeachment move forward to House Judiciary.
Lisa Desjardins, busy days ahead.
Indeed.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.